Step back in time and rediscover 60 classic Sunday supper recipes that once filled family tables with warmth and tradition. From hearty casseroles to slow-simmered roasts, these dishes brought loved ones together. This dish featured tenderized beef simmered in a rich tomato and onion gravy until fork tender. Slow-cooked in a Dutch oven, it was the definition of comfort food. Served over mashed potatoes or buttered noodles, its savory, melt-in-your-mouth goodness made it a staple of Sunday dinners. Though once beloved, Swiss steak faded from kitchens as quick meals became the norm. Today it's rare to find this homey classic on modern dinner tables. With its deep flavors and tender texture, maybe it's time for a comeback. This creamy, comforting dish featured diced chicken, mushrooms, and bell peppers in a luxurious sherry-infused sauce. Typically served over toast, rice, or puff pastry, it was both elegant and hearty. Popular in mid-century America, chicken a la king was a staple at family dinners and potlucks. However, as people moved toward lighter, quicker meals, it fell out of favor. Its rich, indulgent flavors and velvety texture make it a forgotten classic that deserves a comeback in modern kitchens. A twist on meatloaf, this dish combined ground ham and pork with breadcrumbs and spices, baked to perfection, and topped with a sweet pineapple glaze. The balance of savory and sweet made it a standout. Once a cherished Sunday centerpiece, ham loaf fell out of favor as fresh cuts of meat became more popular. Though rarely seen today, its unique flavor and retro charm could bring back memories for those who grew up enjoying it. From sweet and savory to rich and hearty, our next dish was a diner-style favorite that brought warmth to every Sunday table. This diner-style classic featured seasoned ground beef patties smothered in rich mushroom and onion gravy. Served with mashed potatoes and green beans, it was a hearty Sunday night favorite. Though once a staple, Salisbury steak declined as frozen meals became more common. While TV dinner versions still exist, the homemade version with fresh ingredients is far superior. Its bold, comforting flavors and satisfying texture make it a nostalgic dish worth reviving for those who love classic home-cooked meals. Stuffed with ground beef, rice, tomatoes, and spices, bell peppers baked until tender were a wholesome and satisfying meal. Some variations included cheese or sausage for extra flavor. Once a common Sunday supper, stuffed peppers lost their popularity as quick stir-fries and fast food replaced home-cooked meals. While still enjoyed by some, they don't appear on dinner tables as often as they once did. Their hearty, nutritious appeal deserves a second chance. Did your family ever make stuffed peppers? Let us know your favorite version. This classic comfort dish featured tender stewed chicken and fluffy dumplings in a rich, creamy broth. A staple of Southern and Midwestern Sunday dinners, it brought warmth to family tables. Though still found in some homes, chicken and dumplings has become less common as quick soups and stews replaced slow-simmered meals. However, its hearty, homemade goodness and nostalgic appeal make it a dish worth bringing back. Few meals can match the cozy satisfaction of this timeless, comforting favorite. From hearty, slow-cooked favorites to perfectly baked classics, our next dish was a staple of traditional Sunday suppers. Tender pork chops baked with a flavorful apple and breadcrumb stuffing made this dish a beloved cold-weather favorite. The sweet-savory combination was perfect for Sunday suppers and family gatherings. Once a staple in home cookbooks, this dish faded as leaner cuts of pork and quicker meals became popular. Though rarely seen today, its comforting blend of flavors and hearty appeal make it a forgotten classic. With its rich taste and nostalgic charm, it deserves a place on modern dinner tables. A true Sunday classic, beef pot roast was slow-cooked with onions, carrots, and potatoes until fork tender. Its rich, savory gravy made it the ultimate comfort food for family gatherings. Once a staple of home-cooked meals, pot roast faded as quick dinners became the norm. Though still beloved, its lengthy cooking time has made it less common in modern kitchens. However, its deep flavors and nostalgic warmth make it a dish worth reviving for special occasions or cozy Sunday suppers. This budget-friendly casserole combined egg noodles, canned tuna, and a creamy sauce, often finished with crunchy breadcrumbs. Easy to make and filling, it was a go-to dish for Sunday family meals. Once a mid-century favorite, tuna noodle casserole lost popularity as fresher ingredients and lighter meals became preferred. Though it has faded from many dinner tables, its comforting texture and nostalgic charm make it a forgotten classic. For those who love retro comfort food, this simple dish is worth bringing back. From creamy casseroles to tangy baked pasta, Our next dish was a simple yet flavorful favorite in many households. Elbow macaroni baked with stewed tomatoes, butter, and seasonings was a comforting side dish that sometimes doubled as a light main course. Its tangy, buttery flavor made it a staple in many homes. As macaroni and cheese gained popularity, baked macaroni and tomatoes gradually disappeared from dinner tables. Though largely forgotten, its unique blend of savory and slightly sweet flavors deserves a revival. This simple yet satisfying dish is a reminder of the wholesome, home-cooked meals of the past. Have you ever tried this classic dish, or is it new to you? Pan-fried liver smothered in caramelized onions was once a staple of Sunday suppers, prized for its rich flavor and high nutritional value. Often served with mashed potatoes or gravy, it was a hearty, iron-packed meal. Over time, liver fell out of favor due to its strong taste and shifting dietary preferences. While some still enjoy it, it's far less common on family menus today. Though not for everyone, its deep, savory flavor makes it a dish worth rediscovering. This dish featured crispy fried potatoes and corned beef, often paired with eggs for a hearty, satisfying meal. It was a great way to use up leftovers and a comforting choice for Sunday suppers. Once a breakfast for dinner staple, corned beef hash faded as fresher, less processed meals became popular. Though still found in diners, homemade versions have become rare. Its crispy, savory goodness and nostalgic appeal make it a forgotten classic worth bringing back to modern home kitchens. Whether crispy and golden or rich and savory, these next dishes were the epitome of homemade comfort. Thinly sliced potatoes baked in a creamy sauce with chunks of ham made this dish a rich, comforting Sunday dinner. The combination of tender potatoes and savory ham created a filling, satisfying meal. As one-pot meals and instant mashed potatoes became more popular, scalloped potatoes and ham slowly faded from family menus. Though less common today, its cheesy, creamy texture and nostalgic appeal make it a forgotten classic that deserves a comeback on modern dinner tables. Stuffed with ground meat and rice, cabbage rolls were slow-cooked in a rich tomato sauce, creating a hearty and flavorful meal. This comforting dish was a staple in many Eastern European households and often made for Sunday suppers. As tastes and cooking habits changed, cabbage rolls became a rare sight on modern dinner tables. Though labor-intensive, their old-world charm and satisfying taste make them a dish worth reviving. Their rich, savory flavor brings warmth and tradition to any meal. This creamy, seasoned ham spread was a simple yet flavorful dish, often served on crackers or bread as a light supper or appetizer. Its rich, smoky taste made it a pantry staple for decades, offering a quick and satisfying meal. As fresh deli meats and gourmet spreads became more accessible, deviled ham gradually faded from home kitchens. Though mostly forgotten, its nostalgic charm and bold flavor make it a classic worth revisiting for those who appreciate old-fashioned homemade spreads. From rich, cheesy bakes to nostalgic homemade spreads, these next dishes were once mealtime favorites. A creamy casserole featuring tender chicken, broccoli, and a rich, cheesy sauce. Chicken divan was a popular Sunday supper in the 1950s and 60s. Often topped with breadcrumbs for extra crunch, it was a comforting, satisfying meal. As lighter, health-conscious meals replaced heavy casseroles, this dish gradually faded from dinner tables. However, its creamy texture and indulgent flavors make it a forgotten classic worth reviving, especially for those who love nostalgic, home-cooked comfort food. A mix of fruit, jello, and sometimes even vegetables, this colorful, wobbly dish was once a staple at Sunday gatherings. From molded gelatin rings to whipped cream-topped creations, jello salads were both a dessert and a side dish. Hugely popular in mid-century America, they gradually fell out of favor as fresh salads and lighter fare became preferred. While considered old-fashioned today, their nostalgic appeal remains strong, bringing back memories of potlucks, holiday dinners, and classic family traditions. Made with ground beef, vegetables, and a layer of creamy mashed potatoes, shepherd's pie was a hearty, comforting dish perfect for feeding a hungry family. Baked until golden and bubbly, it was a staple of Sunday suppers. Though still enjoyed in some regions, it has been overshadowed by quicker pasta and rice dishes. However, its rich, savory flavors and satisfying texture make it a timeless classic. For those craving old-fashioned comfort food, shepherd's pie is definitely worth reviving. From crispy baked layers to hearty, savory fillings, our next dish was a true comfort food classic. This Italian-American favorite featured pasta baked with marinara sauce, ricotta, and mozzarella cheese, creating a rich and satisfying meal. With its gooey, cheesy layers, baked ziti was a staple of Sunday suppers and family gatherings. While still served at parties and potlucks, it has been replaced by quicker pasta dishes in many homes. However, its comforting flavors and hearty appeal make it a dish worth bringing back, especially for those who love classic baked pasta meals. Ground beef simmered in a tangy, slightly sweet tomato sauce and piled onto a soft bun made Sloppy Joe's a fun, messy favorite. Loved by both kids and adults, this hearty sandwich was a staple of Sunday suppers. As fast food burgers and takeout became more popular, homemade Sloppy Joes gradually faded from dinner tables. While still made occasionally, they aren't as common as they once were. Their nostalgic, comforting flavors make them a classic worth bringing back. What was your favorite way to eat Sloppy Joes? Classic on a bun or with a fun twist? 21st, ham and bean soup. A slow-simmered soup made with ham hocks, white beans, and savory seasonings. This dish was rich, hearty, and perfect for cold Sunday evenings. Its deep, smoky flavor made it a comforting staple in many households. As canned soups and quick meals grew in popularity, homemade ham and bean soup became less common. However, its wholesome, slow-cooked taste is a reminder of how satisfying home-cooked meals can be. This forgotten classic deserves a comeback in modern kitchens. From slow-simmered soups to Southern comfort classics, our next dish was a staple of cozy Sunday suppers. 22nd, Southern-style grits and gravy. Creamy grits topped with sausage gravy, or rich pan drippings, made for a hearty, comforting Southern supper. This simple yet satisfying dish was a staple in many homes, bringing warmth and tradition to the dinner table. As quick breakfasts and instant meals became more common, grits with gravy gradually faded from regular menus. Though rare today, it remains a beloved favorite for those who grew up with it. Its rich, comforting flavors make it a dish worth reviving. 23rd, creamed chipped beef on toast. Thin slices of dried beef in a creamy white sauce served over toast made this dish a budget-friendly classic. Simple yet satisfying, it was a staple of hearty Sunday breakfasts and suppers. As fresher and lighter breakfast options became more popular, this dish gradually faded from home kitchens. However, its creamy, salty goodness still holds nostalgic appeal for those who remember it. For a comforting taste of the past, this forgotten favorite is worth bringing back. 24. Meatloaf with brown sugar glaze. A sweet and savory twist on traditional meatloaf, this dish featured a rich brown sugar and ketchup glaze that caramelized as it baked, adding extra depth of flavor. It was a comforting, home-style favorite for Sunday suppers. While meatloaf remains a classic comfort food, this particular variation has largely disappeared from modern menus. Its perfect balance of savory meat and sweet, tangy glaze makes it a forgotten favorite worth reviving for those who love old-fashioned, home-cooked meals. From rich, caramelized glazes to bold, vibrant flavors, our next dish was a true dinnertime favorite. 25th, Shrimp Creole. A spicy, tomato-based dish featuring shrimp, peppers, and onions, Shrimp Creole was a Southern favorite that brought bold, zesty flavors to the dinner table. Served over rice, it was both hearty and comforting. Once a staple in Southern households, this dish has become less common as international cuisine and quick meals have taken over home kitchens. However, its rich, tangy sauce and perfectly seasoned shrimp make it a forgotten classic that deserves a comeback in modern kitchens. Have you ever tried making Shrimp Creole, or is this dish new to you? 26. Chicken fried steak with white gravy. This crispy, breaded steak smothered in creamy white gravy was a Southern classic that made Sunday suppers feel special. Served with mashed potatoes or biscuits, it was a comforting and indulgent meal. While still found in some diners, chicken fried steak has become less common in home kitchens as lighter meals gained popularity. However, its perfectly crispy texture and rich, savory gravy make it a forgotten favorite that deserves a revival for those who love classic Southern comfort food. 27th, Beef Stroganoff. Tender strips of beef simmered in a creamy mushroom sauce and served over egg noodles made beef stroganoff a comforting Sunday classic. Its rich, velvety texture and deep flavors made it a favorite for family dinners. Once a staple, this dish faded as lighter, quicker meals became more popular. Though it takes time to prepare, the result is a satisfying, indulgent meal. For those who appreciate old-fashioned comfort food, beef stroganoff is a forgotten classic worth bringing back. From velvety sauces to comforting baked casseroles, our next dish was a true home-style classic. 28th, Baked Chicken and Rice Casserole. chicken, rice, and a creamy sauce baked together to create a hearty, comforting Sunday supper. This easy one-dish meal was a family favorite, offering rich flavors and a satisfying texture. As convenience foods and microwave meals became more common, slow-baked casseroles like this faded from dinner tables. However, its simple ingredients and homey appeal make it a forgotten favorite worth reviving. For those craving classic comfort food, this dish is a reminder of the warmth of traditional home cooking. 29th, tamale pie. A hearty southwestern dish, tamale pie featured a flavorful beef and tomato filling topped with a golden cornbread crust. This unique twist on Sunday supper was rich, comforting, and easy to make. Once a go-to meal for busy families, tamale pie gradually faded as Tex-Mex takeout and quicker meals became more popular. However, its bold flavors and satisfying texture make it a forgotten classic worth revisiting. For those who love cozy, home-cooked comfort food, tamale pie deserves a comeback. 30. Baked cod with butter and herbs. This simple yet delicious dish featured flaky cod baked with butter, lemon, and fresh herbs, creating a light but flavorful Sunday meal. It was easy to prepare and full of fresh, delicate flavors. As seafood dishes became more elaborate and restaurant-style, this humble baked cod gradually disappeared from many home kitchens. However, its simplicity and classic taste make it a lost favorite worth reviving. For those who appreciate fresh, wholesome meals, this dish is a comforting reminder of traditional home cooking. From light, flavorful seafood to hearty Southern staples, our next dish was a comforting addition to Sunday dinners. 31st, Hoppin' John. A Southern favorite, Hoppin' John combined black-eyed peas, rice, and smoky bacon or ham, creating a hearty, flavorful meal. This comforting dish was a staple at Sunday suppers, known for its rich, earthy taste. Once common in many Southern homes, Hoppin' John is now mostly reserved for New Year's celebrations. However, its satisfying texture and deep, smoky flavors make it a forgotten classic worth bringing back. For those who love traditional Southern cooking, this dish deserves a place on the table year-round. 32nd, chicken and rice pilaf. This dish featured seasoned chicken baked with fluffy, buttery rice, creating a simple yet comforting Sunday meal. The slow-baked flavors made it a hearty favorite for family dinners. With the rise of instant rice and microwave meals, homemade chicken and rice pilaf has become increasingly rare. However, its rich, satisfying taste and wholesome ingredients make it a dish worth rediscovering. For those who appreciate traditional home cooking, this forgotten classic offers the perfect balance of flavor, warmth, and nostalgia. 33rd, beef and vegetable stew. A slow-cooked mix of beef, potatoes, carrots, and onions, this hearty stew was a go-to meal for chilly Sunday evenings. Simmered for hours, it developed deep, rich flavors that made it a comforting family favorite. As ready-made soups and instant meals became more common, homemade beef stew gradually declined in popularity. However, nothing compares to the warmth and satisfaction of a slow-cooked, from-scratch version. This timeless dish deserves a revival for those who appreciate classic comfort food. 34th, eggplant parmesan. Slices of breaded eggplant layered with marinara and cheese, then baked until golden and bubbly, made eggplant parmesan a delicious vegetarian classic. Its crispy texture and rich, cheesy flavor made it a favorite Sunday supper. Once a staple in Italian-American households, this dish has become less common as meat-based meals gained popularity. However, its hearty, comforting taste and satisfying layers make it a forgotten favorite worth reviving. For those craving classic comfort food, eggplant parmesan deserves a comeback. From indulgent Italian classics to hearty, savory meats, our next dish was a true comfort food favorite. 35th, Swedish meatballs. These tender, spiced meatballs simmered in a creamy, savory sauce were a Sunday supper favorite, often served with egg noodles or mashed potatoes. Their rich, comforting flavor made them a staple in many households. Though still found in some places, like IKEA, homemade Swedish meatballs have become far less common as quick, pre-packaged meals took over. However, their hearty, well-seasoned taste and velvety sauce make them a forgotten classic worth bringing back to home kitchens. Do you prefer your Swedish meatballs with noodles, mashed potatoes, or something different? 36. Stuffed pork chops. Thick pork chops stuffed with breadcrumbs, herbs, and sometimes apples created a flavorful, elegant Sunday supper. Baked until tender and juicy, they were a hearty, satisfying meal perfect for special occasions. As leaner cuts of meat and quicker meals became more popular, stuffed pork chops gradually faded from dinner tables. However, their rich, savory taste and classic appeal make them a lost treasure in home cooking. For those who appreciate traditional flavors, this dish deserves a revival. 37th, shrimp scampi. Garlicky shrimp tossed in a buttery lemon sauce and served over pasta or rice made shrimp scampi a light yet indulgent Sunday supper. Its fresh, zesty flavors balanced richness with simplicity, making it a restaurant-quality meal at home. Once a popular dish, homemade shrimp scampi has become rare as quicker, prepackaged pasta meals took over. However, its bold flavors and elegant simplicity make it a forgotten gem worth reviving for those who love fresh, flavorful seafood dishes. From indulgent seafood dishes to warm, cheesy casseroles, our next meal was pure comfort on a plate. 38th, hash brown casserole. Shredded potatoes baked with cheese, sour cream, and seasonings created a rich, creamy hash brown casserole, a beloved side dish for Sunday suppers. Its gooey, cheesy texture made it a comforting favorite at family gatherings. Once a staple at potlucks and holiday meals, hash brown casserole has been replaced by simpler potato dishes. However, its indulgent, satisfying flavors make it a forgotten classic worth bringing back for those who love warm, cheesy comfort food. 39th, homemade meat pies. Flaky pastry filled with seasoned ground beef and vegetables made meat pies a comforting handheld meal perfect for Sunday suppers. Baked to golden perfection, they were a satisfying mix of crispy crust and savory filling. While still popular in some cultures, homemade meat pies have faded from everyday home cooking as quick meals took over. However, their rich flavors and hearty appeal make them a forgotten classic worth reviving for those who love warm, flavorful comfort food. 40th, Salisbury steak with onion gravy. This homemade classic featured seasoned beef patties smothered in a rich onion gravy, served alongside creamy mashed potatoes. It was a hearty, comforting meal that made Sunday suppers feel special. Though still available in frozen dinners, homemade Salisbury steak has nearly disappeared from family kitchens. Its deep, savory flavors and satisfying texture make it a dish that deserves more love. For those who appreciate classic comfort food, this forgotten favorite is worth bringing back to the dinner table. From hearty, flavorful gravies to crispy Southern classics, our next dish was a comforting favorite. 41. Fried catfish with hush puppies. Cornmeal-crusted catfish fried to golden perfection and served with crispy hush puppies was a beloved Southern favorite. Its crunchy exterior and tender, flaky fish made it a comforting and satisfying meal. As seafood dishes became more refined and health-conscious options gained popularity, this down-home classic gradually faded. However, its rich, crispy flavor and nostalgic appeal make it a dish worth rediscovering. For those who love traditional Southern cooking, fried catfish remains a timeless comfort food worth reviving. 42nd, chicken spaghetti. A creamy, cheesy pasta bake with shredded chicken spaghetti was a comforting Sunday night staple that brought warmth to the dinner table. Its rich sauce and hearty texture made it a favorite for family gatherings. Though still enjoyed in some regions, chicken spaghetti has been overshadowed by quicker, simpler pasta dishes. However, its indulgent flavors and nostalgic appeal make it a forgotten classic worth bringing back. For those who love creamy, baked comfort food, this dish deserves a revival. 43rd, beef and cabbage soup. A hearty, slow-cooked soup made with beef, cabbage, and potatoes, this dish was a comforting choice for a cozy Sunday meal. Its rich broth and tender ingredients made it both filling and flavorful. As lighter soups and quick-prep meals gained popularity, this rustic classic gradually faded from home kitchens. However, its deep, satisfying flavors and wholesome ingredients make it a lost dish worth reviving. For those who appreciate hearty, old-fashioned comfort food, this soup is a timeless favorite. From rustic, slow-simmered soups to rich, creamy gravies, our next dish brought warmth to every Sunday table. 44th, baked chicken with mushroom gravy. Oven-baked chicken smothered in a creamy mushroom sauce was a simple yet flavorful Sunday dinner favorite. The tender, juicy chicken paired with the rich, savory sauce made it a comforting and satisfying meal. As boneless, skinless chicken and quicker cooking methods became the norm, this dish gradually faded from home kitchens. However, its creamy, indulgent taste and classic appeal make it a forgotten favorite worth reviving. For those who love traditional comfort food, this dish is hard to beat. 45th, goulash. A hearty mix of beef, macaroni, tomatoes, and spices, goulash was a simple yet satisfying Sunday supper favorite. Its rich, savory flavors and comforting texture made it a go-to meal for busy families. Though still enjoyed in some households, goulash has lost popularity as quicker pasta dishes took over. However, its bold, well-seasoned taste and nostalgic appeal make it a dish worth reviving. For those who love classic one-pot meals, goulash remains a comforting and budget-friendly option. Did your family have a special twist on goulash, or did you enjoy the traditional version? 46. Beef Wellington. A luxurious dish featuring tender beef wrapped in flaky puff pastry, Beef Wellington was once a show-stopping meal for special occasions. Its rich, buttery layers and perfectly cooked meat made it an impressive Sunday supper. As fine dining trends shifted and home cooking became more casual, this elegant dish became less common in everyday kitchens. However, its indulgent flavors and stunning presentation make it a lost classic worth reviving for those who appreciate timeless, gourmet comfort food. From refined gourmet dishes to timeless comfort food, our next meal was a true home-style favorite. 47th, chicken pot pie. A flaky golden crust filled with creamy chicken and tender vegetables made chicken pot pie the ultimate comfort meal. Its rich, savory filling and buttery pastry made it a Sunday supper favorite for generations. Though still available in frozen form, homemade chicken pot pie has become a rare treat as quicker meals replace traditional baking. However, its warm, hearty flavors and nostalgic appeal make it a forgotten classic worth bringing back to modern dinner tables. 48th, baked stuffed tomatoes. Juicy tomatoes filled with a savory mix of breadcrumbs, cheese, and herbs made for a simple yet flavorful side dish. Baked until tender, they offered a perfect balance of freshness and rich, roasted goodness. As fresh salads and raw vegetables became more popular, baked stuffed tomatoes gradually disappeared from Sunday tables. However, their deliciously savory taste and rustic charm make them a lost classic worth reviving. For those who love wholesome oven-baked comfort food, this dish deserves a comeback. 49th, spaghetti carbonara. A creamy egg-based pasta dish with pancetta, carbonara was once a beloved Sunday supper for Italian families. Its rich velvety sauce clung perfectly to the pasta, creating a simple yet indulgent meal. Though still enjoyed in some places, carbonara has been overshadowed by quicker, less traditional pasta dishes. However, its deep, savory flavors and luxurious texture make it a forgotten favorite worth bringing back. For those who appreciate authentic Italian comfort food, this dish is a timeless classic. Whether rich and creamy or crispy and indulgent, these next dishes brought warmth and tradition to the dinner table. 50. Veal Parmesan. Breaded veal cutlets topped with marinara and melted cheese made veal parmesan an indulgent, restaurant-quality Sunday supper. Crispy on the outside and tender inside, it was a comforting and satisfying dish. As beef and chicken became more common, veal dishes gradually declined in popularity. However, its rich, cheesy goodness and classic Italian flavors make it a forgotten favorite worth reviving. For those who love hearty, old-fashioned comfort food, veal parmesan deserves a well-earned comeback. What's your go-to side dish to pair with a classic Italian meal like this? 51st, cheesy potato casserole. A rich, creamy casserole made with layers of potatoes, cheese, sour cream, and a crispy topping. This dish was a beloved Sunday supper favorite. Its gooey, indulgent texture made it the ultimate comfort food. Though still found at potlucks and holiday gatherings, homemade versions have become less common in everyday home cooking. However, its warm, cheesy goodness and nostalgic appeal make it a dish worth bringing back. For those who love hearty baked comfort food, this classic deserves a revival. 52nd, classic chicken cacciatore. A rustic Italian dish, chicken cacciatore featured braised chicken simmered in a rich sauce of tomatoes, peppers, and herbs. This slow-cooked meal was a staple of Sunday suppers, filling kitchens with its deep, savory aroma. As quick chicken dishes became more popular, this hearty classic gradually faded from dinner tables. However, its bold flavors and comforting texture make it a timeless dish worth reviving. For those who love traditional Italian home cooking, chicken cacciatore is a forgotten favorite. From rustic Italian flavors to slow-cooked smoky goodness, these next dishes brought depth and tradition to family meals. 53rd, homemade baked beans with bacon. Slow-cooked beans in a sweet, smoky sauce with bacon made this dish a rich and comforting addition to Sunday dinners. Its deep flavors and hearty texture made it a family favorite for generations. As canned beans became more convenient, homemade versions gradually disappeared from dinner tables. However, the slow-cooked depth of flavor and nostalgic appeal make this dish worth the extra effort. For those who appreciate classic home-cooked comfort food, this timeless favorite deserves a revival. 54. Southern-style collard greens with ham hocks. Collard greens simmered with ham hocks and seasonings were once a staple of Sunday meals in the South. Slow cooked to perfection, they absorbed a rich, smoky flavor that made them a comforting favorite. As lighter, fresher vegetable dishes gained popularity, this hearty classic declined in home kitchens. However, its deep, savory taste and traditional Southern roots make it a dish worth reviving. For those who love authentic comfort food, slow-cooked collard greens remain a timeless favorite. 55th. Chicken Kiev. Crispy, golden, breaded chicken stuffed with rich garlic herb butter. Chicken Kiev was once a restaurant-quality meal proudly made at home. Cutting into it released a luscious, buttery filling that made every bite indulgent. As quick and easy chicken dishes became the norm, this labor-intensive classic gradually faded from home kitchens. However, its crispy coating and flavorful, buttery center make it a dish worth reviving. For those who appreciate classic, elegant comfort food, Chicken Kiev deserves a comeback. From crispy, butter-filled perfection to rich, slow-simmered warmth, these next dishes were packed with flavor and tradition. 56th. Beef barley soup. A slow-simmered soup with tender beef, barley, and vegetables, this dish was a hearty and comforting staple for Sunday dinners. Its rich broth and wholesome ingredients made it perfect for chilly evenings. As instant soups and ready-made meals gained popularity, homemade beef barley soup became less common in home kitchens. However, its deep, savory flavors and nourishing appeal make it a forgotten treasure worth reviving. For those who love slow-cooked comfort food, this classic dish deserves a comeback. 57th. Breaded pork cutlets with brown gravy. Thin breaded pork cutlets fried to crispy perfection and smothered in rich brown gravy made for a comforting and satisfying Sunday meal. Served with mashed potatoes or buttered noodles, it was a true home-style favorite. As pork chops and leaner cuts of meat became more popular, this dish gradually disappeared from dinner tables. However, its crunchy, savory goodness and classic appeal make it a lost treasure worth reviving for those who love hearty, old-fashioned comfort food. 58th. Chicken paprikash. This Hungarian classic featured tender chicken slow-cooked in a creamy, paprika-infused sauce, creating a rich, smoky flavor. Traditionally served over egg noodles or dumplings, chicken paprikash was a comforting, home-cooked Sunday favorite. Once a staple in many kitchens, this dish has become increasingly rare as quicker meals gained popularity. However, its deep, velvety sauce and hearty appeal make it a forgotten treasure worth rediscovering. For those who appreciate traditional, slow-cooked comfort food, chicken paprikash deserves a revival. From rich, smoky stews to light and crispy classics, these next dishes added warmth and tradition to every meal. 59th. Homemade Yorkshire pudding. This golden, airy bread pudding was traditionally served with roast beef and gravy, making it a classic Sunday supper staple. Its light, crispy texture perfectly complemented rich, savory meats, creating a balanced and satisfying meal. Though still popular in the UK, Yorkshire pudding has faded from many home kitchens as simpler side dishes took over. However, its unique flavor and delicate crunch make it a forgotten favorite worth reviving. For those who love traditional roast dinners, this dish is a must-try. 60th. Old-fashioned bread pudding with vanilla sauce. A dessert made from stale bread soaked in a rich, sweet custard and baked until golden, bread pudding was a cozy Sunday night treat. Warm, soft, and often topped with cinnamon or vanilla sauce, it was pure comfort food. As fancier desserts gained popularity, this humble classic became less common. However, its custardy richness and nostalgic appeal make it a forgotten favorite worth reviving. For those who love simple, old-fashioned sweets, bread pudding deserves a well-earned comeback in modern kitchens. Do you prefer your bread pudding plain? Or do you like adding raisins, nuts, or a special topping? I hope you enjoyed this journey through forgotten Sunday supper recipes. Which of these classic dishes do you remember? Let us know in the comments. Until next time.